All right. So have you ever like walked into a room
Uh-huh.
and you just get this like super weird feeling like you've been there before,
Totally.
even though you know you haven't?
Yeah.
Like it's happened to me a bunch of times.
Yeah, me too.
It's déjà vu, right? That's what it's called.
Déjà vu. Yeah.
And it's like one of those things that happens to so many people,
It does.
but nobody really knows why.
Uh-huh.
So today we're going like all the way deep into the science of déjà vu.
Awesome.
We're going to try to figure out why it happens.
I love it.
And this deep dive is actually inspired by some articles
Oh, cool.
that you sent over to us.
All right.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty,
Okay.
it's worth pointing out
Yeah.
that you're not alone if you've experienced this.
You really aren't.
Like a lot of people get it.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
It's actually like 60 to 70% of people.
Really?
Yeah. So it's super common.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah. And it seems to be even more common in certain groups of people, like younger adults,
Oh, interesting.
travelers, people who have a lot of dreams,
Oh, wow.
and folks with higher education.
So, listener, does any of that sound like you?
Right.
Maybe you're part of that
Uh,
déjà vu club.
yeah, exactly.
But the big question is,
The big question.
why does it happen? And
Yeah.
to really get that,
Yeah,
we've got to look inside the brain,
we do.
and particularly this area called the temporal lobe.
Oh, the temporal lobe.
It's pretty important
Super
when
important.
it comes to memory.
It is. It's like the brain's memory filing cabinet.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Right.
So it's like storing all of our memories
Pretty much.
and keeping them organized.
Yeah, and there are these key parts in the temporal lobe,
Okay.
like the hippocampus and the amygdala.
Now, those sound familiar.
Yeah, they're kind of rock stars when it comes to memory.
Okay, so what are they actually doing?
Well, the hippocampus is all about forming and storing new memories. And the amygdala is more involved in processing emotions and attaching them to memories.
So, like, when I remember that time I went skydiving and I was terrified.
Exactly. Your amygdala was working overtime there.
Gotcha. So, these are important parts of the brain
Crucial.
for memory, but what happens when they glitch?
Ah, well, that's where things get interesting.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
One theory is that déjà vu could be a result of like a memory mismatch.
A memory mismatch.
Yeah, like imagine your brain is trying to open a file,
Uh-huh.
but the file's corrupted or in the wrong folder,
Oh, so you get that feeling of familiarity,
right?
but you can't actually access the memory?
Exactly. It's like that feeling of knowing something,
Yeah.
but not quite being able to put your finger on it.
It's like it's on the tip of your tongue, but
Totally.
you just can't
Kid get.
spit it out.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. But what if it's not a memory problem at all?
Good question.
What if it's something else going on?
Well, that brings us to the neural pathway theory.
Okay, neural pathway theory,
Yeah, so think of your brain's wiring,
like electrical wiring.
kinda, but more complex.
Okay, so it's like the connections in our brain.
Exactly. And sometimes those connections can have shortcuts.
Shortcuts.
Yeah. And according to this theory,
Uh-huh.
the familiar signal in our brain,
Right.
it might get triggered without actually accessing the memory itself.
Oh, so it's like a shortcut that bypasses the actual memory?
You got it.
That's so interesting.
It is.
So it's not a memory glitch, but a wiring shortcut.
Exactly.
That's a whole new way to think about it.
Right.
Okay, so we've got memory mismatch
Yes.
and neural pathway shortcuts,
Uh,
but then there's this whole other thing
oh, yeah.
about dopamine.
Dopamine, what's that all about?
Well, dopamine is this neurotransmitter in the brain,
Okay.
and it's linked to like pleasure and reward.
Oh, so like when you eat chocolate.
Exactly. Dopamine is involved.
Okay.
And some studies are suggesting that drugs that affect dopamine levels.
Can actually increase the instances of déjà vu.
Whoa, hold on. So you're saying our brain chemistry
Oh.
could be messing with our sense of reality?
Well, it's complicated.
That's kind of freaky,
It is pretty wild.
right?
Yeah. But researchers are using brain imaging now
Okay.
to try and see what's actually happening in the brain.
So they can see what's happening during déjà vu.
Exactly.
Right.
They're using techniques like fMRI.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
So what are they finding?
Well, one interesting thing is that they've seen increased activity
Uh-huh.
in the frontal lobe during déjà vu experiences.
The frontal lobe.
That's the part of your brain
Okay.
that's involved in decision making,
Okay.
problem solving,
Uh-huh.
and like resolving conflicts.
So basically our brain is like, hold up, something's not right here.
Yeah, it's like your brain is trying to figure out why something feels familiar
Mm-hmm.
when it shouldn't.
Like it's trying to solve the mystery.
Exactly. It's like a mini detective in your head.
Okay, now things are getting really interesting.
Right.
So we've got all these theories about memory glitches
Yeah.
and brain chemistry.
Yeah.
But scientists are now taking things even further.
They are.
They're actually recreating déjà vu in the lab.
I know, isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
It is.
How are they doing that?
Well, they're using virtual reality.
Virtual reality?
Yeah, they're creating these virtual environments.
Uh-huh.
And they're finding that similar spatial layouts,
Virtual layout.
like the way a room is arranged, can actually trigger that familiar feeling.
Oh, so like if I walk into a cafe,
Yeah.
that has a similar layout
Uh-huh.
to my childhood bedroom or something.
Exactly. Your brain might pick up on those similarities.
Even if I don't consciously realize it.
Exactly.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
So you're saying even the layout of a room
Uh-huh.
could trigger this feeling?
It's a possibility.
Wow. Okay. So we've got memory mismatches.
Yep.
Neural pathway shortcuts. Dopamine shenanigans.
Right.
And now virtual reality spatial layouts.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But there's another theory that I think you'll find fascinating.
Okay, hit me with it.
It's called split perception.
Split perception. Okay, what's that?
So imagine this.
Uh,
Your brain takes two super quick snapshots of the same scene.
okay.
The first snapshot is kind of blurry or incomplete,
Okay.
but the second snapshot is clear.
So my brain gets two slightly different images.
Yeah, and the idea is that your brain gets confused and thinks it's seen the clear picture before.
Even though it just happened.
Exactly. It's like your brain is playing tricks on you.
That's trippy.
It is, right?
It's like my brain is a magician.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, so all of this is making déjà vu seem like a bad thing.
Right.
Like our brains are messing up.
Uh-huh.
But I read somewhere that experiencing déjà vu
Yeah.
could actually be a good sign.
Oh, it definitely could be.
Really?
Yeah, some researchers believe that it's a sign of a healthy brain.
So instead of being a glitch,
Right.
it's actually my brain working properly.
Exactly. It might be a sign that your brain is actively checking for errors.
Like it's doing quality control.
Yeah, like a proofreader for your memories.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better.
Good.
But here's another thing.
Yeah.
If my brain is so good at spotting errors, why don't I realize it's déjà vu right away?
Ah, that's a good question.
It always seems to hit me like a second later.
It does, right?
Like, oh, wait, I just had déjà vu.
Yeah, it's like a delayed reaction.
Exactly.
Well, that might have to do with the difference
What do you
between
think?
our conscious and subconscious minds.
Ooh, getting deep now.
Right. Remember how we talked about those theories where
Ah.
the subconscious might recognize something
Yeah.
before the conscious mind catches up?
So like one part of my brain is saying,
Yeah.
hey, I think we've been here before.
Uh-huh. But the other part is still trying to figure out what's for dinner.
Haha, exactly.
And by the time your conscious mind gets the memo,
Yeah.
the moment has often passed.
It's like a delayed text message from the past.
I love that.
But why? Why?
Why?
What?
Why does it happen at all?
The big question.
Like, what's the point of déjà vu?
Yeah, is it just a random side effect of having complex brains?
Or did it evolve for some reason?
Well, there are a lot of theories out there.
Okay.
Some researchers think it could be a way
Yeah.
for our brains to test and refine our memory systems.
Oh, so like a pop quiz for my brain?
Exactly. Making sure everything's working right.
Okay, that makes sense.
And others think it might be a way
Uh-huh.
to help us avoid danger.
Oh, how so?
Well, that feeling of familiarity
Yeah.
could be our brain alerting us to a situation
Okay.
that's similar to a past threat.
Even if I don't consciously remember it.
Exactly. Like a built-in alarm system.
Whoa, that's incredible.
All right.
So déjà vu could actually be a survival mechanism.
It's a possibility.
Wow, I never thought about it that way. It's pretty amazing.
It is.
But of course, more research is needed
Yeah.
to really figure out
Mm-hmm.
if there's a single definitive purpose for déjà vu.
Right, because there could be multiple reasons.
Exactly. It could be a combination of things.
Or maybe it's just a quirk of evolution.
Could be.
Like a little reminder that our brains are full of surprises.
I like that, a reminder that our brains are awesome
They are.
and mysterious.
And that's what makes this whole topic so fascinating.
Totally.
It's like a window into the mysteries of consciousness itself.
It really is.
It shows us how much we still don't know about our own minds.
And that's the beauty of science, isn't it?
Yeah.
The more we learn,
Huh.
the more we realize how much more there is to discover.
Totally. And speaking of discovering more,
Yes.
we're just getting started with our deep dive into déjà vu.
Oh, yeah. We've got a lot more to cover.
So stay tuned because we're going to be exploring even more
We are.
fascinating theories about this mysterious phenomenon.
Can't wait.
All right, we'll be back in a flash.
Welcome back to our deep dive on déjà vu.
We're back.
We've been exploring all these like wild theories
Uh-huh.
about why we get that. Like, I've already seen this feeling.
Yeah, it's really making me question, like,
I know, right?
everything I thought I knew about how my brain works.
It's crazy.
But you know what's blowing my mind even more is
Right.
how scientists are, like, using all this cutting-edge tech to actually study déjà vu.
It's not just theories anymore.
Yeah.
We're talking brain imaging, virtual reality.
It's like sci-fi stuff.
I know, right?
It's so cool.
So like one of the most exciting things I've read about is
Yeah.
fMRI.
Oh, yeah. fMRI is amazing.
So for people who don't know,
Yeah.
fMRI, it basically lets researchers
It lets them watch brain activity
Yeah.
in real time
while it's happening.
as it's happening.
That's incredible.
It is.
So instead of like guessing which parts of the brain are lighting up
Right.
during déjà vu, they could actually see it.
I can see it. That's so cool.
It is, and you know it's really cool.
What?
They're finding that there are measurable differences
Okay.
in brain activity between like true déjà vu
Uh-huh.
and just like a general feeling of familiarity.
So there's a scientific way to tell the difference
There is.
between thinking like, oh, this place looks kind of familiar,
Yeah.
and being like, whoa, I've totally been here before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can distinguish between those two things.
That's amazing.
And that means they can like zero in
Uh-huh.
on the specific neural processes
Okay.
that are unique to déjà vu.
So they're like separating it
They are.
from all the other memory stuff.
It's like they're cracking the code.
This is like seriously starting to sound like
No, right?
something out of the Matrix.
Totally.
But okay, besides brain imaging,
Yeah.
what other tools are researchers using?
Well, they're also like digging deeper
Okay,
into different types of memory.
different types of memory.
Yeah, because like, there's episodic memory,
Episodic memory. Okay.
which is like your mental photo album
Okay.
of personal experiences.
So like all those embarrassing childhood moments.
Exactly. All those are stored in your episodic memory.
Got it.
And then there's semantic memory.
Semantic memory. Okay, what's that?
That's more like your encyclopedia of general knowledge.
So like knowing that Paris is the capital of France.
Exactly. That's semantic memory.
Okay, so two different types of memory.
Yeah. And researchers are trying to figure out
Uh-huh.
if one type is more glitchy than the other
When it comes to déjà vu.
when it comes to déjà vu. Exactly.
That's a really interesting thought.
It is.
It
Right?
makes me wonder if maybe like my episodic memory
Ah.
is more prone to those like file not found errors,
Yeah.
than my semantic memory.
Makes sense.
But you know what else I'm like super curious about?
What?
Those virtual reality studies.
Oh, yeah. The VR stuff is so cool.
Like where is that research headed?
Right.
What new things are we learning from that?
Well, it's really cool because
Mhm.
VR gives researchers so much control.
Okay.
They can build these virtual worlds
Uh-huh.
that are like almost identical
Yeah.
to places people have been before,
Okay.
but with tiny changes.
Tiny changes.
Yeah. And then they can see
Yeah.
if those tiny changes trigger déjà vu.
So they're like testing those
They are
spatial layout theories,
Yeah.
but in a much more controlled way.
much more controlled.
Oh,
Exactly.
brilliant.
It is. And the results are actually supporting the idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that our brains are constantly
Uh-huh.
scanning for
Yep.
patterns,
Even when we're not aware of it.
even when we're not aware of it.
Oh.
And you know what?
What?
Even like a small change in a virtual room
Uh-huh.
can be enough to make someone feel like,
Like they've been there before.
yeah.
So it's like our brains are always playing
Okay.
a game of spot the difference.
Yeah,
But like on a subconscious level.
exactly.
And when we can't figure out what's different,
Yeah.
boom, déjà vu.
Boom, déjà vu. I love it.
And what's even cooler is that
Yeah.
VR is allowing researchers
It is.
to track people's like physical reactions
Yeah.
during déjà vu.
Like heart rate sweating,
Really?
even brainwave patterns.
They can see all of that.
They can.
Wow, so they're not just creating déjà vu?
Nope.
In the lab, they're like monitoring how our bodies react to it
They're monitoring it all
in real time.
in real time.
That's incredible.
It's like mapping the entire experience
Yeah.
from your brain to your fingertips.
Okay, so all of this research is amazing.
It is.
But what does it mean for the future?
Well, that's the exciting part.
Okay.
All of this is pointing to some really cool possibilities.
Like what?
Well, for example, some scientists believe that we might be able to like harness the power of déjà vu
Harness the power of déjà vu.
to actually improve memory function.
Wait, are you serious?
I am.
You're saying this weird brain glitch
Mhm.
could actually help people with memory problems.
It's still early days.
Yeah.
But the idea is that by understanding how our brains
Okay.
check for errors during déjà vu,
Yeah.
we might be able to develop therapies or techniques to boost memory.
Wow. So it's like turning a bug into a feature.
I love that analogy.
It's mind-blowing.
It is, right.
But you know what else would be wild?
What?
If we could actually predict when someone's going to have a déjà vu experience.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, imagine that. Like, you're just walking down the street and your phone buzzes and it's like, warning, déjà vu in 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
I know, right?
That's why.
Like, would it change the experience?
Right. Would it feel different?
I don't know, but that's something that researchers are actually looking into.
They are. They're trying to figure out if we can predict déjà vu.
Wow, that's like next level stuff.
It is. It raises some big questions.
It does like ethical questions too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, is it even right?
Mess with something like that.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It is, but you know what I love about this whole conversation is that it's like going beyond the science and making us think about the bigger picture.
The big questions.
Yeah, like what does déjà vu really mean,
you
know, for our understanding of reality and the human experience?
That's a perfect segue into the last part of our deep dive.
All right, bring it on.
We've explored the mechanisms, the theories, the future possibilities.
Yeah.
But what does it all mean?
Yeah, what does it all mean?
That's what we're going to tackle next.
Okay, I'm ready.
So stay tuned.
All right, we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back, and my brain is officially like doing backflips.
I know, right? Déjà vu is wild.
It is. It really is. And we've been on this journey.
Yeah.
You know,
we have.
Trying to understand how it works.
All the science.
The science, the theories, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But now I feel like we're standing at the edge of like this giant canyon, the Grand Canyon of the mind.
Yes. We've explored the how.
Right.
But what about the why?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is like, why do our brains create this feeling of already seen,
of already lived, when we know logically?
Yeah, logically it's not true.
Right.
So does that mean our perception of reality is like...
Is it broken?
Kind of broken, yeah.
Well, I think it's more nuanced than that.
Okay, how so?
Instead of seeing these like glitches as flaws, what if they're actually signs of our brain's incredible complexity?
So you're saying these like little misfires are proof that our brains are working hard.
They are.
To keep things running smoothly.
I think so.
Okay, I can see that.
Right.
Like maybe it's not a bad thing.
Not necessarily.
It's just my brain like doing its job.
Exactly. It's like your brain is this amazing supercomputer.
Okay.
But even supercomputers have the occasional bug.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. And those moments of déjà vu, they might actually be a sign that your brain is doing quality control.
Like a proofreader for my memories.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better.
Good.
But here's another thing that bugs me.
Okay.
If our brains are so good at spotting errors, why don't we realize it's déjà vu right away?
Like, why the delayed reaction?
Exactly. Like, it always seems to hit me a second later.
It says, right? Yeah.
Like, oh, wait, I think I just had déjà vu.
Like a little time delay?
Yeah.
Well, it might have to do with the whole, like, conscious versus subconscious thing.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
Remember, some theories suggest that déjà vu might actually start with our subconscious recognizing something before our conscious mind catches up.
So, like, one part of my brain is whispering, hey, I think we've been here before, but the other part is still like...
Still trying to figure out what's for dinner.
Haha, exactly. And by the time your conscious mind gets the memo, the moment has often passed.
It's like my brain is sending me a delayed text message from the past.
But they love that.
But like, why though?
What do you mean?
Like, why does it happen at all?
You're back to the big question.
I know.
Full circle.
What's the point of déjà vu?
Yeah, like, is it just a random side effect of having complex brains? Or did it evolve for some reason?
Well, you know, there are a lot of theories out there.
Okay.
Some researchers think it could be a way for our brains to test and refine our memory systems.
So, like, my brain is giving itself a pop quiz?
Yeah, just to make sure everything's working right.
Okay, that makes sense.
And others think it might be a way to help us avoid danger.
Oh, wow. Okay, how so?
Well, that feeling of familiarity could be our brain alerting us to a situation that's similar to a past threat.
Even if we don't consciously remember it?
Exactly, like a built-in alarm system.
Whoa, that's incredible.
It is right.
So déjà vu could actually be a survival mechanism.
It's a possibility.
Wow, I never thought about it that way.
It's pretty amazing.
It is.
But of course,
Yeah,
more research is needed
always more research.
to figure out if there's a single definitive purpose.
Right, because there could be multiple reasons.
There could be.
It could be a combination of things.
Absolutely.
Or maybe it's just a quirk of evolution.
Could be.
A little reminder that our
sense.
brains are full of surprises.
I like that. A reminder that our brains are awesome
They are.
and mysterious.
And that's what makes this whole topic so captivating.
Right. It really is.
It's like a window into the mysteries of consciousness itself.
It really is.
It shows us how much we still don't know about our own minds.
And that's the beauty of science.
It is.
The more we learn, the more we realize
Yeah.
how much more there is to discover.
Totally.
So, listener,
Yeah.
we've reached the end
The end of the road.
of our deep dive into déjà vu.
We've explored the science, the theories, the mind-bending implications.
All of it.
But I think it's safe to say that
So what?
the question of why we experience déjà vu
Yes.
remains a mystery.
It does.
For now.
But maybe that's okay.
Yeah. Why?
Because sometimes the most fascinating questions are the ones that don't have easy answers.
That's true.
It keeps us exploring,
Yeah.
keeps us questioning.
Keeps us curious.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know about you, listener, but I'm walking away from this
Yeah.
with a whole new appreciation
Good.
for the weirdness and wonder
It is weird and wonderful.
of my own brain.
Right.
So the next time I get that feeling of déjà vu,
Yeah.
I'm not going to brush it off.
Don't brush it off.
I'm going to take a moment to marvel at the complexity of this amazing organ inside my head.
I love that.
It's pretty incredible when you think about it.
It is.
And who knows, maybe one day we will finally crack the code of déjà vu and unlock even more secrets about how our minds work.
Until then,
Until then,
keep those deep dives going
keep asking those big questions,
and keep exploring.
and we'll see you next time.